Something has to be done here because you are, in fact, leaving a poison to spread, a cancer.
And you would realize I'm a bit
reluctant,
yes. Because you see, in situations like this, yes, we have individuals, but the fact of the matter is that we have reached a point where you remove these 10. If we don't deal somebody's going to come in.
I fully understand that, but I also learn that sometimes when I want the moon, I have to consider there is the sky and then there are clouds. I'll take the clouds. Let me take the clouds down.
What I would advance is that the minister could make any place or deem any place a prison. It's allowed for. If they were to do that, it would present a window of opportunity to introduce a number of changes to the environment that could see us moving forward. Is something that we would support because definitely some of these individuals really put a lot of strain on the system. So we are not speaking about removal of their rights, but what we are saying is that because of the influence that some of these people wield, then it may be the time that we look at having some place designated where, one, they are held and treated with, and two, their matters are dealt with expeditiously for the benefit of the state.
And that's part of that multi-pronged approach you were talking about, because it is not just the isolation, because on the other hand, you cannot have people sentenced before trial, even though we may suspect them to be bad and terrible.
And it's not even about that. We're not dealing with their case at all. And this is the position prison officers find themselves in. We are not concerned with what you did. That is not within our remit at all. Right. What we are concerned with is what our mandate is, which is to hold in safe custody, which is to rehabilitate and have people re-enter into society. So we are not concerned with what you do. The fact of the matter, within our environment, however, when we realize that you may have a certain level of influence that would undermine our mandates, that is where we have the issue and challenge.
It is 34 minutes after 10 o'clock. You're inside Brunch from 107.7. My name is Rennie Bishop. Thank you for being with us. My guest is Gerald Gordon, who's the General Secretary of the Prison Officers Association. We don't want another study because analysis paralysis is something that is used by those who seek not to do anything but bring forward paper. And that's for that reason we are trying to get an area of action and what we can do. We identified a couple of things that can be done in the short term, the longer term. What are you seeing?
In the longer term, there needs to be, although we talk about the justice system, we don't operate as a system. What we need to start having is a lot of cross-divisional, for want of a better word, communication and information sharing. And one of the things that we continue to speak about is the fact that how do we track people who engage the system or who are engaged by the system. The first contact usually is the police. Then they would be taken to court. Then they come to us, right? We are saying that a lot of this clutter and confusion needs to start that how do we treat with them from that first contact. We need to start streaming people based on needs and stop looking at crime as assault, but or that this person just wicked, and move to a point where we are treating with it treated as a disease. Right. One of the things that if somebody is arrested, whatever number they are assigned, that number should be the same for the police, the prison, the courts, one person. The other thing that we are looking at, we know that they are building a video conferencing or video court facility there on the western side of the remand prison. We are excited to have that facility up and running. We hope that it will be completed in quick time, simply because we want to move to the point where we reduce the movement of people just simply to get adjourned. We see those amalgamated trucks moving up and down.
Yes.
And you just ride the truck to get an adjournment. That is an unnecessary expense on the state. And it's also
a security risk.
Yeah,
also.
it's a security risk. When we look at the officer, we have consistently been saying we are trained a particular way. Because we are trained in a particular way, we could only react in particular ways to certain levels of threat. We have been asking for alternatives, some non-lethal equipment that would not be as strenuous on the officer and also the inmate.
You mean like tasers and so on?
Tasers, pepper spray, there are foams, there are a number of other things. Even the training of the prison officer has to change to meet the current challenges that we are facing. You see, because you want people to be efficient and effective and bring as least damage or that in that physical interaction. You want to reduce that as quickly as possible because the objective is to stop and cease whatever is happening. And in doing that, you see, it comes back to the protect. Even in when we have these interactions, our mandate is that protection. And we will hear the public talk about, oh, the wicked and the prison officers. But the fact of the matter is, the environment and the infrastructure does not lend itself to a certain mode of operation. It just doesn't. What we are asking for, I know that was on the drawing boards. I don't know how far it reached with UDCOT, with the new remand facility. Our facilities need to be purpose-built and in consultation with the people who need to use it. Sometimes we construct things and then they tell us, well, this is what we have, without understanding that there are certain things that we need to do. And the environment, it could be brand spanking new. It's not an enabling.
You don't make the pants and tell me fits in it. You ask me to check out my weight first, and then you decide how you're going to do it.
Yes.
I understand that. You talk about ensuring that we have all the tools in place. Technology is one of the things that, of course, everybody must be up to speed with. Even though I know that there are low-level ways of getting contraband into the prison, there are low-level ways of getting a message out, and so on. But one of the technological aids, because as you said, nothing is a complete solution. Everything is a part of. One of the technological aids we have is the question of using jammers to stop cell phones. Well, we've got two issues here. One, how are cell phones getting in? Well, they have creative ways they will do that. But for those who get in, the jammers were supposed to lock that down. Why am I talking about this so heavily in the context of of prison officers and their safety? Is because if they did not have access to cell phones, they would have to be either talking across, and I would hope that there are systems in place that you can monitor a conversation between visitors and so on. And if they use a conventional phone, you can also grab that, but not so easy on a cell phone. Am I correct?
Yeah. What I would like to say, and I was so fortunate to be able to attend the American Correctional Association conference in Utah some time ago, and I sat in specifically on a session they were doing about contraband and cell phones within the prison. And whether Trinidad and Tobago would want to admit it or not, the fact is, every major prison anywhere is dealing with the issue and the challenge of cell phones and illegal contraband within the walls. And the whole issue with cell phone is a very technical issue because you have individuals who you have systems that no matter how well constructed, you still have there are frequency issues and all this sort of thing. So even with that, you see that what they have is that the technology is constantly evolving to meet the challenge that is there. When you look at how do they get in various ways. They get in via... We know that they get in via some officers. We know that they get in via even through the police facilitating them when they come back from court. Because that is one of the things that we would want to treat with and hope that the government would advance, is that when we hand over these inmates to go to court, we are not with them the entire day. When they come back, why are they coming back? And when we pass them through the scanner, they have cell phones, they have marijuana, they have cigarettes. Who is facilitating that? And then they blame the prison officer. So here I am, 300-400 inmates go to court, and they come back, and let's say 40% of them coming back with something. How is that being facilitated? What we're saying is that better systems of monitoring needs to be put in. These inmates need to be, or the persons who carry them to court and bring them back need to be held responsible. I am saying, if when I'm doing my searching at the remand prison, I know this guy left this morning with nothing. If he comes back and he has 2 cell phones, marijuana, cigarette,
it's a very frightening
somebody
picture.
has to be held responsible.
Well,
for that.
just to be very clear, when we use the term somebody, I mean, they leave the prison, they hand it over to police officers. They are taken to court where they sit before a judge, a magistrate, whatever. Then they leave there, they're back in their hands. They never leave the custody of the police officer and is brought back to you.
Correct is right.
Right, so it's not very difficult to say where this leak is obviously coming from.
And that is one of the problems we are having, even with the implementation of the body scanners. In the prison, the police are not scanned. The amalgamated is not scanned. But the officer is being scanned.
Now, be very clear here that we all are on the same page. Amalgamated is a private security a company that carries
the drivers carry the prisoners.
So it is not entirely true to say it is only in the hands of the police officers.
No.
I see. So they leave you, they go into a private security
vehicle
from the hands, that vehicle takes them to the prison where the court officers, the police officers down there take charge of them, take them out of prison, put them back in the hands of this private security firm, and then brought home to you.
Correct is right.
Yeah, we've got 2 doors to be looking at very seriously.
Very, very seriously. And if we, and this is what I'm saying, if we are serious about security, if we are really serious about securing the nation's prisons, we continue to say that every single person, barring some medical situation, needs to be subjected to searching both on entering and leaving the prison facilities.
Again, holding you back just for clarity here. So we are saying that in addition to the prisoner having 2 hands changing before he gets back to you, the folks who are carrying and re-entering these people are not...
they're not being searched.
They're not being searched.
No.
Why is that?
You could pose that question better probably to the Commissioner of Prisons or the Commissioner of Police or the management at Amalgamate.
Your association, I'm sure you have raised this before. What explanation you got?
I would prefer not to say it on air.
I see. Okay. So we do have a problem right there. We continue our conversation with Gerald Gordon, the General Secretary of the Prison Officers Association. In any of your discussions, I want to go back just for a moment because I thought you're right on top of the nail. You're on the head of the nail when you speak of the tie-up and the responsibility of the judiciary. Your organization at any point had conversation with your line minister any conversation, first of all, with the head of the prison officers of prisons, the head of prisons, and by extension,
we are always
national security on this question.
Yeah, we always are, especially with Mr. Stewart, even with the previous commissioners, we have always been in constant communication. We met our line minister once. We expressed that whole thing about willing to support the government with the preparation of that legislative agenda that speaks specifically to the protection of officers. I know that there was a meeting earlier this year. I think they were discussing that whole issue of the insurance for officers who are killed whilst on duty. Well, not whilst on duty, officers who are killed while in the employ, because we have a very unique situation where thus far we have probably had 2 murders of officers whilst on active duty in uniform. Everyone else was murdered whilst outside of the prison